Always an exciting time in Albany with the start of a new session, and that's just where we are today. Hi there, I'm David Smith. Welcome to Meet the Leaders. And with us, one of the guys who's going to make it happen as we go around this year. Senator Kevin Parker is with us. He is heading up, among other things, the Energy Committee, which is just a major enterprise for everybody, as you might expect. We're pleased to have him from the 21st District in Brooklyn joining us here today. And in years gone by, you may have seen him in bow tie. He's now got a more floral look and a long tie. You're looking particularly dapper, ready for work.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, this is something. It's always exciting with a new session starting and so forth. And everybody we're talking to is just incredibly enthusiastic about the potential.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me just say Happy New Year to you. Look, on behalf of the people of the 21st Senatorial District, which I represent, which is Flatbush and East Flatbush, Midwood, Ditmas Park, Windsor Terrace, and Park Slope, they've been waiting a long time to have an opportunity to pass the things that are important to them. Think having a Democratic governor and a Democratic Assembly and now a Democratic Senate is going to put us in position to make a lot of those things occur this year. And so we're looking forward to dealing with things like, the Reproductive Health Act, voter reforms, dealing with criminal justice reform. Certainly, we're going to be looking at some things around single-payer health care and other important issues for the state. And so, it's going to be exciting, but very, very busy time.
Going to be a very busy time, and many of those ideas and concepts and hopes that you just ticked off involve fighting Washington.
Well, I don't think so. What people forget about in the context of federalism, right, most of the power actually resides in the state. And so we actually can do a lot of these things, for our state and protect the people of our state as it relates to women's reproductive health rights, as it relates to sensible gun control, as it relates to, criminal justice reform. Those are things that are all within the context of the purview of the state of New York. And even the important issues that I'm working on as the chair of the Energy Committee, in the context of fighting climate change, but also making sure that we have a sustainable energy future that really not just provides the important commodity to our communities, but also builds the industry of energy as a real dynamic force for employment in the state.
So where do you start?
Well, I think that we start by taking control of the Senate right now, and there's physically hiring staff and it's literally just getting ourselves ramped up. I think there's a lot of important things that are going to happen. I believe that the governor has given a lot of attention to the Reproductive Health Act. I think that will probably be one of the first things that gets done. I like to see a lot of things happen, obviously, on the issues of dealing with climate change. I'm the author of the bill on carbon pricing, and that thing is going to be a big.
And what is that going to mean to people?
So carbon pricing is going to be important because it's going to create an economic incentive for businesses around the state of New York, not just utilities, to lower their carbon footprint. And it's going to mean a cleaner environment for you and me, and more importantly, a more sustainable environment for your children and mine, as well as making sure that we have enough resources to, in fact, build a clean energy future in all segments of our society and our economy.
Is it going to be work with the diversity in the state of New York? Is it workable throughout the state equally?
Absolutely, because we're all using energy and we're all producing carbon, and the reality is that we are understanding that production of that carbon is in fact a real hindrance to both our economy, but also to our health and to the survival literally of the planet. And so this is not something that we're looking to argue. We're looking just to solve the problem.
Now people will say, all right, that's one state looking in that direction. It's of course being affected by all the states surrounding it and throughout the rest of the country.
But that's why we're the Empire State, right? Because we like to be leaders on the things that are important. I don't think that we sit around and saying, well, the rest of the country's not doing it. We're saying, no, this is what should happen. And so let's do it first in New York, and let's create a model in which we should do that. We did that with the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, what's called the RGGI program, and it's been very, very successful. We think that the notion of carbon pricing will be as successful in the state of New York, and hopefully, maybe down the line, we even look at a multi-state compact at doing, some of this carbon.
That's really
carbon
where
pricing.
It's going to count, isn't it? If you can get multi-states
Look,
together
New York,
and doing that.
The state of New York is already the third largest state in the country. So if we reduce our carbon, we're already well ahead of the game, right? And so it doesn't just count if other people join us. I think that if we do it, it then becomes the example and the model for other states to join us and to get with the program.
The L train
Yes.
is one of those areas that, when it's working right, can help in that regard. Where do you see the activity going?
Well, first of all, I think that the L train is symptomatic of a larger problem that we have within the context of the MTA. And we have really two problems with the MTA. One is the financing of it as an agency. And one of the things that I have been making the argument for a number of years is that we need a comprehensive forensic audit of the MTA to know where all the money is being spent and how it's being spent. I don't think that we can ask the riders to give one more dime until we really understand what's happening with the organization.
What's involved in doing that?
There has to be an audit, and I think that the Assembly and the Senate can get together and pay for an audit and make sure that happens. There also will be some, I think, important public hearings done by the Corporations Committee in the Senate to look at this, and maybe hopefully joined by the Assembly to really bring the MTA and talk about why we go from one crisis to another with the MTA. And then beyond that, we need to look at a long-term capital plan, and we really need to fund the improvements that need to happen in the MTA, and that needs to happen sooner than later, and I'm hoping that we get that done by budget time this year.
Senator Kevin Parker is not going to be idle this year.
Not at all.
Relax. He's going to be busy as he can be. From the 21st District in Brooklyn, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
You've got a great time coming up this year.
Absolutely.
It's going to be interesting. Appreciate it. That's the way it's going so far in this great opening session of Albany. For Meet the Leaders, I'm David Smith.